You asked yours already. Okay. You have any?
I would like to do a detailed background of yours.
You know I'm laughing? That's actually the next slide. Okay, so he wants to know a detailed background of me, my life, and that happens to be where we start today. Okay. Is that it or anything else? Just.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's get going. Now, these are just some of my companies. I don't have all of my business cards from everything. Now, we start with simple one when I was a photographer at 13 years old. And from there, I grew into business consulting, properties, a bicycle factory. See, bicycle factory, that one, I'm going to tell you stories about each of them. The bicycle factory is interesting because we built it in Belize, in Central America. And the reason is, if you import bicycles into US, Canada, you have a lot of import duty and tax. But if you import from certain countries, there is no tax because Belize is a tiny little country in Central America. And so internationally, anything made in Belize is imported tax-free because they're trying to support and help this small country grow. So we could make our bicycles in Belize and ship them to the US much cheaper than any other country could. Okay? So you have some creativity like that. Real estate, then 1 hour photo stores when they came out. Nuclear energy, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Software companies, okay? So this is just a variety, and the point I'm trying to make is that I finished high school. I don't know anything technical. An entrepreneur knows how to organize. That's what an entrepreneur does. We organize things. Let me just focus on just these 5 companies. Software. I don't know how to write code, so I get a software programmer, a coder. And I run the business, and he writes the code. This one is gems and minerals, semi-precious stones, crystals, quartz, amethyst, corals, things like that. Again, I don't know anything about it. I find, well, I'm going to go through a list of what to do, but I find the people who know. I build a store. So this was a retail store plus wholesale. So what do I need to do to build a store? I need a location. I need a designer. I need to find products. Okay, I'm going to get into the list soon. And I got into stones and minerals. 1 hour photo. Okay, I'm a photographer. This is a lab where we develop, which means you have machinery and chemicals and all sorts of technical stuff. Again, I look for the experts. I knew it's a good business. So then I find the people who are experts to do the technical part. All right? Now, particle power, this one is a device. We had 2 devices. One of them will run your phone or computer for 10 years, non-stop. No charging it. It's a 10-year battery, would run the technology for 10 years. The other one we invented was a device the size of a car battery that could run a car or heavy machinery for over 100 years without charging or changing it. Both devices are based on nuclear decay. So basically they are not a nuclear reactor, but they're based on nuclear isotopes, nuclear energy. Right? I only finished high school at 16 years old. I don't know any of this. So my business partner for particle power and for nuclear solutions was a nuclear physicist. I run the business. He developed the invention. Nuclear solutions was a process where we could take radioactive waste from a nuclear power plant and make it a benign material, basically not radioactive, turn it to mud within weeks or months. More like months. So instead of millions of years, right? Now, all of these 3 are 3 really good ones, showing you that you don't need to know. You just need to know how to organize. Now, for example, nuclear solutions. We were 3 partners, the nuclear physicist, another business guy, and me. And to develop our prototypes, we needed a nuclear safe laboratory. So basically, in case there's a radioactive isotope, a spill, it has to be contained. Okay, so it's a special kind of laboratory. The other business partner, he was in charge of building the lab, getting the lab built. After 6 months, nothing was done. And he had a little nervous breakdown. So Paul, the inventor, and myself said, Patrick, take a holiday. Take 2 weeks off. You need a break, okay? While he was gone for those 2 weeks, I built the lab and had it up and running. In 2 weeks, what he couldn't do in 6 months. And why? I know how to talk to people. So I talked to the companies that make ventilation. It's a very special ventilation system because you have radioactive materials, has to be sucked out and cleaned so it doesn't go in the environment. You need special kind of flooring that will be protected in case there's a liquid spill, so on. Now, so I got it all done talking to the same people Patrick was talking to. And when he came back, he said, how did you do this? I said, I just talked to them, asked what the problem was, and fixed it. It was that simple. The builders, ventilation, flooring, all of these guys, they said, oh, thank God, David, you're so easy to work with. This is the problem, and you come with a solution. Patrick was, oh, no, well, we have to research and study this and do this and check for this thing, check for that thing, and nothing ever got done. No decision was ever made. That's being an entrepreneur, is see a problem, find a solution, go forward. All right? It is not about marketing and accounting. It is about the personality, your mind, your personality, which can just be creative, problem solving, get along with people. Okay? So basically, when you want to build a business, all right, you want to learn how to be an entrepreneur. All you need to know is, if you have the right mind, choose the business, nuclear waste remediation, a restaurant, it doesn't matter. Choose what your business is. Now, hire or consult with experts. And that, when you're young, is your best advantage, because old people love to talk. Okay? Successful, business, arrogant, big ego, love to talk. And when I was young, I could go and say, oh, really, sir? I really don't know anything. Would you please teach me? And they go, oh, great. Feel their ego. So it doesn't mean you need to hire or pay someone. Sometimes you do. Make them your business partner, like in software, the coder. You only need somebody who is doing it, and then you be very humble and talk to them and ask them questions. And they will tell you everything you need to know. And what they don't tell you, if you've developed the right mind, you will figure out yourself, because you'll have 80% information already. Okay? So the second thing is, you don't need to know it, but you will find the person who does. Next, get a location. Easy. How do you find a shop? Property agents. Walk around. I was a property agent when I built my 3 stores. And so I would just be looking for opportunities. You see a new building being constructed, go in and ask if they have stores for rent. That's how Photo Flash, my photo store, I got that. I was driving by, there's this big office tower being built, and I figured, wow, big complex, huge, massive complex. It's got to have shops underneath. So I went in and I asked, who's the leasing agent? What's the project? And we're doing this and this. I said, oh, is there a store? I can put this store. Yeah, sure. And I rented the store. All right? So you just have the curiosity and courage to ask, to look. You know, so many people on TikTok with my ideas. Oh, no, you can never do that. Oh, you'll get robbed. Oh, the government is against you. Oh, this, oh, that. Forget it. Okay, you're hopeless. Give up. Go lie in bed for the rest of your life. All right? Never say, I cannot, it cannot. Just say, I don't know how, and I will find out. That's all that matters. I will find out. So I know I need a location. Talk to every property agent you can. You'll find one. Drive down the roads. Look for signs for rent. Okay. Next, legal structure. You need a corporation. You need accountants, taxes, all of this. Fine, go get a lawyer, get an accountant. You don't need to learn how to do it yourself. Okay? So don't let that stand in your way. There are professionals who do that. You need a bank account. Go to a bank. They'll tell you what to do. It's easy. Okay? Again, humility. Go find the right professional. Funding. If you need funding, banks, investors, your family, your friends. Once you've got a good plan, you just talk to anybody you can and offer whatever opportunity for investment. Okay? Sometimes it's better with a bank because it's just a fixed interest rate. If it's an investor, they might take a piece of the company or a higher percentage. But you have to see what you can get. You talk to everyone. Let's say you talk to 20 people. 5 of them are interested. 3 of them give you an offer. I'd like to do this with you. Then you choose which one you like best. You don't say, oh, I'm talking to someone. Okay, now I'm fixed talking to. No, if he didn't make a deal, keep talking to others. All right? Until you get the funding you need. Another way is, depending on your business, pre-sales. Like, for example, property. You make a design, you get the land, and then you sell the apartments before you even make the first digging of the hole. And you get the deposit money. Then that money is used to fund the project, stage by stage. So depending on your business, you might be able to pre-sell to get the money to start doing the business. Then it's all yours. You don't have anybody to share with, right? Okay? So if you're renting cars, you can say, fine, I'll rent you the car. How much will you give me? Well, if you have this car, we'll give you $20,000 a month. Okay, I'll tell you what. You give me the first 3 months in advance. I'll take $15,000 per month. And give me the first 3 months in advance. Okay, now he gives you $45,000. Now you can go to the bank and say, I've got $45,000. That's 10% of $450. Will you lend me the other 90%? Because I've already got $45,000. And they'll say, yeah, okay. Now you can buy another car. You see, without any money, because you pre-sold the first 3 months at a discount, but who cares? You make that much less, but all of a sudden you're in business. So you have to think about that. I'm going to give away a percentage of the company. I'm going to give away interest I pay on a loan. Or I'm going to give a discount for pre-sales to get cash. You see, it doesn't matter your business. There's always creative ways of solving a problem. All right? Then all you've got to do is find the supplier. What is your product? And you look always for a new supplier. You shop for cars. You shop for better deals on food. You find what kind of food you like. It's something special. Go to that country. Go to Vietnam and import the food yourself. That was a business idea that Van and I had, but we don't want to have to work at that. Van is Vietnamese, so she'll go back to Vietnam. She'll source cashew nuts, dried mangoes, other nuts and dried fruits, things that are not perishable, and then we'll get the sources there, and then we get an agent here who says, okay, you know, I'm looking for something to do, I don't know what to do. Say, fine, we will bring the product in bulk, you do the individual packaging and sell it to the shops, okay? So if you said, oh, I'd like to be in food and sell things, you know, nuts and fruits, fine, you can source it here, or you can go to another country and source it cheaper. You see? So when we're looking for the supplier of the product, we don't limit to where you are. You find an original source to get things cheaper, and that makes you more competitive. All right? Then, of course, you need to hire your staff in marketing. That's easy. You do whatever is appropriate. Hiring staff is a big issue. I think Andrea asked that question on the text. hiring staff is the most difficult part of business. Everything is easy. Good people to work for you is the hardest part of a business. So what do you do? Now, first, people are lazy and stupid. Okay, that's a general rule. A friend of mine was a circuit court judge in the US. It's the highest court in America. For 30 years, he was a judge. And he said, in 30 years, I discovered something. All the crime is committed by only 5% of the people. He said, another 5%, they're the brains, the business people. They make the world go round. He said, the other 90%, they just eat the food. They're lazy, they're stupid, they just get up, go to work, get their paycheck, eat, watch TV, get drunk, go to sleep, and repeat, okay? Now, those are generally the staff you're gonna get, depending on your business, if you have a shop or something simple. So how do you get people to be loyal, hardworking, and devoted? Is give them what they're there for. They're not there for love. They're not there to make the company grow. That's one of the biggest things that bug me, is these big corporations have these team-building efforts so that we can all work together to make the company great, and we're still only going to give you a few dollars of pay, you know? You're not going to get anything for it, but you can be proud you helped build this big company. And the CEO of one of the companies that I had an issue with, he makes $16 million a year. And you know how many thousands and thousands of clients I found that they cheat? They did cheat. They cheated me, and then I did my work to get my money back, and I found they cheat thousands of people. And you know what the CEO said? Let's sue him for libel if he tries to fight us. So they're a crook, and they cheat, and then they try to silence you. Now, what do you think if you work for this CEO who makes $16 million a year, and you know you're cheating the little people and the clients, and you get a small salary? You're going to feel miserable working there. So if you want loyal staff, you run the business with integrity, you pay them well, and you don't say, let's build the company and be proud and you still get the same pay. No, let's build the company, be proud, and increase your salary and get a bonus, get a percentage of the income. So if you work harder, and that's what I did in my stores, all right? Photo business is seasonal. Actually, most businesses are seasonal, but that was a seasonal business, which means that in the summer you make money. In December at Christmas time you make money because everyone's taking a lot of pictures. But in March, April, this is winter in Montreal, nobody's doing much business. So I can't say month over month, but I say this January compared to last January, if we have an increase of, say, $10,000, $1,000 of that increase goes to the staff. So for this month over last year, same month, whatever increase we make in sales, 10% of that goes to be distributed to everybody. So now you can really want to make the company better because you're getting something for it. And you turn a lazy person into a motivated, loyal worker. As opposed for them working for a company which cheats their clients, treats their staff badly, so they become lazy and not motivated. You treat them with respect and a share of the work they do, which is produce your money. And now they become motivated and harder working. Now, not everyone will be, so those you can get rid of, but you will find those who will work harder, and you get those, okay? The other way to hire good staff is if you're in a restaurant, you go to another restaurant, and you see someone working really well, you say, ooh, they're a very good server, or whatever it is, say, you know, let's go for a coffee. And you give them your bonus plan. And you say, would you like to work for me? So that's how you get good people, is you steal them from other companies by offering them a better deal. All right? And so then you've got good staff working for you. Now, good staff means good customers, right? You remember how I showed that slide of, we don't allow you to abuse our people, right? Well, the reason customers are abusing the staff is because you're giving crappy service. So, if you have good staff who are motivated, so you pick the good ones from other businesses, you motivate them by giving a share of profits and good bonuses. They are now loyal and hardworking. Your customers are not going to be abusing them and giving them shit. The customers are going to be loyal and happy and bring their friends. And that's how you build your business better than anybody else. All right? And then all you do is sell. Then you do your business. Sell your products. Okay? So it's so simple. That is being an entrepreneur. And now, if you hired, like me, hired good staff, at 25 years old, I owned 8 companies. How do I do that? Very good, loyal staff. I train them, then okay, it's yours. You run the business. I'll come and check on you every day, but you run the business. And then I build another one. Train the right people, build another one. Train the right people, build another one. That is an entrepreneur. It is not someone who sits there every day working. Okay? And so you see, it's quite easy to build any kind of business. Come on, 16-year-old graduate of high school, and I was in nuclear energy. How? That's what I'm trying to teach people, is to have this mind, personality that can do anything. All right? Now, difficulties of business. The only difficult part of business is when you are not making money. Because if you're making money, there's no difficulties, right? When you're not making money or you're stuck and you think there is no solution. But the truth is there's always a solution, all right? You just have to look harder until you find it. You know what a panacea is? Cure all. It cures everything. Panacea cures everything. Solution to every problem. The panacea is your mind. Use it or you lose everything. So you've got to develop that mind through the things I'm teaching you here, personality development, to not have an ego. Okay, your ego, your human personality, the flaw is it shuts down, doesn't like to think. It can't deal with pain, problems, fears. It stops. So when you have a business and it's losing money, fear will come in. It's normal. Now, if your personality and your mind is not developed well, that fear will shut you down. And you'll say, oh, it's a problem. I can never solve it. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's a big problem. But if you know that there's always a solution, you may not have thought of it, you may not like it, but there's always a solution, and you don't have an ego that needs to find it yourself, and you go back to find the right consultant or experts, or old people who are retired from that business, so they don't have anything to protect anymore, then you will find a solution. Now, I had a business, Atlantis, the stones business, and I wanted to sell, and I sold it. And the deal was the buyer was going to take over my current bank loan and give me $30,000 profit. I think it was like $30,000, something like that. Cool. The day before, talk about dirty business. The day before, he said, no, I'm not doing the deal. And he knew I already had booked my plane tickets for the next day. And I was going off for, an 8 months, 1 year trip. So he knew he could. I said, okay, what's the deal? He said, I'll take the bank loan, I'll take the business, but I won't give you the $30,000. So wow, that's a problem, right? But no ego, always know there's a solution. So what I did was I accepted that. And now I took a loss on this company, to which loss I applied against my other company, which was making a lot of profit. And the $30,000 less gave me a loss situation in the other company, well, not loss, but lowered my profits so much that I saved more than the 30 in income tax payments. Huh? Well, I don't know the tax laws here, but I would assume so. It's basic accounting.
But then you need to show there's a link.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to have a link between the two companies. I was the link. So if I took out a personal dividend to reduce the income of the company, so I personally would pay a lot of tax. But the structure was such that I also could take a big loss from this other company I owned. Then that offset the dividend or salary, I forget how we classified it, income. So one offset the other personally. So the company here had a loss, fine, I took the loss. The company there had a profit, but it reduced its profit by paying me. And then I now had an income which I offset with the loss, and then they washed. And it was better. Okay?
But one must be profitable. Or
So-
one must be in a...
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to set your own corporate structure. So that's how I did it with the help of a very good accountant. And he structured everything legally to submit the taxes that way. And yeah, so I went to an expert accountant to say, what can we do about this situation? He said, well, if we structure it like this, good, done. You see, no ego, go for help, go to the experts. Can we turn off the air conditioner, please? Are you guys okay for the AC? It's all right? Okay, just this one. All right, so you have no ego, you go to the experts and you get the solutions to solve any problem. Otherwise, if I had the ego and I said, oh my God, this is terrible, this is the end of it, I have to cancel my trip, cancel the deal, stay in business. Oh no, big pain in the ass. So we don't want to do that, okay? So you find solutions, all right? Okay, so you get the idea that every problem can be solved if you have the humility to go for help and the wisdom of choosing the right person to help you and how to work with what they say and be creative to find the solution. So basically, there's always a solution. If you cannot find it, it's your fault. You didn't look hard enough. Or you were too fixed in your opinions. Okay? All right, it's good? We got that? All right. Now, next. Finding something to do. All right. This is my friend's son. No, it's not him, but I remember this from my friend's son. And the reason I thought of it is Israel just developed a new super tank for their war. And this super tank is like a video game. The people inside are wearing these helmets with VR glasses, so they're in a tank and they can see outside, and every time he turns, the gun is turning, and it's a video game. Now, this boy, when he was a boy, he loved video games. And then when he became an adult, he got a job in the army working on some high-tech radar sort of computer stuff. He wasn't allowed to talk about it. But it's the same now. If you play video games, you are being trained and developing skills that somewhere there's a job that basically is like a video game. Like, for example, drones. You sit in a room looking at a screen, playing a video game, moving this plane, except it's a real drone flying around outside somewhere. But because as a kid, you got great at video games.
Yeah, especially Fortnite.
I'm sorry?
I know that, for example, Fortnite.
Yeah.
The kids who play that and who are champs in it, they get a scholarship in the US like an athlete, the same level.
There you go. Okay? So what did you love to do as a kid? And what would you teach your little kids to do or not do? And there has to be some wisdom and balance because you can go overboard with games too, of course. But my point is that to find your future could be related to whatever you loved to do that you're skillful at, and just finding a way to apply that skill in your future. So what's my skill? As a kid, I'm super organized. Everything was neat in order. At 5 years old, I used to make my own bed every day. Okay, I like things neat and orderly. So as an organized person, I can go into a company when they hired me as a consultant because they're falling apart, they're going bankrupt, losing money, and I can organize the different parts of their production or their management or their office to make them more efficient. So as a pedantic little organized OCDC or whatever it's called, I wasn't that bad, but you know, everything had to be perfect. That skill means that I'm really great at organizing things, and as an adult, I organized businesses to be more efficient. Now, what does it mean to be more efficient? Less waste. And what is it all? Money. Money and time. Well, time equals money. Remember that last week. So, being efficient means spending less expenses and making more profit. So as a kid who used to keep his toys organized, that meant as an adult, I keep a business, a factory, a shop organized, which means more profit. So you find whatever your talent was and see where it takes you. Now, Elon Musk is known as Tesla, right? First of all, he's not the founder of Tesla. He's the fourth CEO. Tesla was built by two brothers. Elon Musk had money. He invested in Tesla. Eventually, he became CEO. Now, where did he get his money? He invented PayPal. So, Elon Musk, famous richest man in the world from Tesla, actually is because he was a geek who liked programming and created PayPal, an online payment system, at the time the internet was just beginning. And when he sold it, he made his money there and then invested in other things. So whatever you do, be it playing games as a kid or whatever business you have today, is a step towards something in the future that when the opportunity comes, you'll need to be ready to take that opportunity. Okay? So don't put down anything you're doing now, and don't plan on staying with whatever you're doing now, but accumulate as much money as you can, because somewhere in the future there will be a bigger opportunity. So you always say that whatever I'm doing is just leading me to something bigger, bigger, bigger. But let it be much bigger, not a small thing to another small thing to another small thing, right? Okay, and you may never know what it's going to be. When Elon Musk made PayPal, he didn't know he was going to become the richest man in the world in a car company. I'll bet he didn't know that because Tesla wasn't invented at the time that PayPal was. So you have to think that there are opportunities. I need to be ready. Okay? Now let's get to a couple of the psychological points. Some about the mind. All right. Now, there are 3 levels of understanding anything, everything. There's the knowledge, the vision, and the truth. And as you see, knowledge only sees a little bit. Vision sees a little more, but the truth sees the whole thing of any situation. It's a conversation. It's a disagreement. It's a chair. It's a table, whatever it is. Okay. So if we take the table or the chair, knowledge means you know about it. Vision means, oh, I see it, it's real. But truth means you know how it's built, what it's made of. So if I tell you about halak, you don't know what halak is. Because you're not an Iraqi Jew where we eat halak at Passover. You don't know what Passover is, maybe. Anyway,
We know.
okay. But it's a Jewish holiday. And in this 1 week holiday, we eat halak. Now you have knowledge that halak is something you eat. But if now you talk to each other or somebody else about halak, can you really know anything? No. But if they say halak, you're going to say, ah, yeah, it's a food. So you have knowledge it's a food. But you don't know what it is. You don't know if you like it, what it tastes like, nothing. Because you only have knowledge. So now, how many times in your life do you actually have conversations about things that all you have is knowledge? Anytime you talk about something in the news, you have knowledge. You talk about the war here, the war there, you know what's happening in Israel or in Palestine or in Timbuktu or in Russia. You only have knowledge. You don't really know the truth. Now, if you will go and see, in other words, let me make halak and show it to you as I did yesterday to Van. Made halak and I showed her. And she looks and says, what is it? So what it is, she sees it. It is crushed walnuts with date syrup mixed together. Now you have the vision of it. You see what it is. You have the knowledge, something I eat. The vision, I see it's date syrup and walnuts. Something different, but yeah. But you see it, and now you know vision. But can you still tell anyone what it tastes like? No. You might say what dates taste like. You might know date syrup. You might know walnuts. But do you know what the combination tastes like? What the texture is? How it feels in your mouth? See? You don't have the truth. So if you were to tell anybody about it, to show your ego that you know, when you only have knowledge and maybe the vision, but you don't have the truth, you will have a probability of looking stupid. And I'll tell you one stupid boy. I dated a girl, and this guy was her new boyfriend. He was intimidated by me, and we were talking once at some party, and he was, because I fly, I have my own airplane, and he was trying to show he's as good as me. So he said, you know, I was in a small plane once, and I saved me and my boss's life, the pilot's life. What happened? He said, well, it was a guy I worked for, had a small plane, and he was taking me flying one time. Okay? And he said, and we were driving down the runway in the wrong direction, and another plane was coming right for us. And the pilot didn't see. So I took the steering wheel and turned it, and we went off to the side. And the plane missed us. I'm so good, I saved our lives. Now, he doesn't know anything about flying, and he's talking to a pilot. Now, the problem is when you're on the ground, that steering column doesn't do anything. It only changes, it moves the plane when you're in the air. On the ground, it's the rudder pedals that turn the plane. So here we have an idiot who thought he knew. He saw the plane, he saw the turning, and the plane turned. Maybe he actually believes his story. But he doesn't have the truth that, in fact, it was the pilot who, using the rudder pedals with his feet, that turned the plane. So, because he's limited with knowledge and perhaps vision, if the story was true, he still looks like an idiot because he doesn't have truth about the situation. And he's talking to an expert who does have truth. Okay? So, now, what is so important? First of all, you will make mistakes. Because let's say it's true and the pilot didn't see the oncoming plane and he's trying to turn, they're still going to go straight and have a collision, if that would have happened. Because he thinks he understands. So how many times in your life, in an argument, in a conflict, in a conversation, in a business, do you think you know what's going on, but you don't have the whole truth of the situation, and you make a mistake. It's not just how you look to other people. It's the mistakes you make that are going to cost you money. People like to invest their money sometime in the stock market, and they trust advisors because they don't know how the stock market works, and then they lose their money. Because you have knowledge, stock market place to make money. You have vision, this guy is an investor, consultant, broker, he must know what he's doing. But you don't have the truth that he really doesn't know either, and that he's just trying to sell a product to get a commission, whether you win or lose. But because you stop at the vision and knowledge, you trust that person, and then you invest and lose your money. And the worst part is, because you don't know about these 3 levels of understanding, you think that you had the truth of understanding. So when you see something, you think you know it. So when you do that kind of investment to a broker, an agent, and you lose your money, if you think you had the truth and you made wise decision, you feel like the fool. You feel like you made a mistake. And now what else did you do is your self-esteem goes down. You get fear. You don't take another chance. So we have to know that if I made a mistake, it's because I never had the truth of the situation. I stopped at the vision and thought I understood. And that's why I made a mistake. If you see the chair and it looks good, but you don't know that one leg is broken, and you sit down and fall on the floor, where is the fault? Is it the chair, the person who had the chair, or is it because you didn't know the truth that one leg was broken? Okay, it's a tough situation. You wouldn't know maybe, or something like that. But my point is that accidents happen because we don't know the whole truth of the situation. Accidents, losses, failures only happen because we don't know the whole truth of a situation. And we make a wrong decision because the vision isn't the whole truth, and it misled us. Okay? So we always have to look for the truth of every situation, all the details. When someone is selling you something, doing business with you, and money, it's always a place where people will lie because they're there to make money, so they want to make more money, right? So you can never trust anybody in business for a couple of reasons. First, if it's business they want to make more money, they might deliberately not be honest. Second, they're a human, and humans usually stop at vision or knowledge, and so that person could be sincere but giving you wrong information because they themselves do not have the truth. So I can't trust anybody when it comes to money for many reasons. So they could be a thief, crook, or they could just be limited. Or they could have a big ego, trying to show they know, trying to be trusted. Okay? So the onus is on you, the responsibility is on you to make sure you get the whole truth in every detail about every business you do, about any transaction you do. Okay? And that is where, you remember the one with the 2 buildings? It takes years to build the buildings, and in 30 seconds, demolished. Okay? So that's why 90% of people eat the food and don't do anything, because they have knowledge, try and fail. They have vision, try and fail, and they stop, they give up. They say it's bad, too risky, don't do it. Because 90% will fail. But if you go for the truth of things, you will not fail. You have a 95% chance of success. All right? So all you have to do is think of things where you were wrong. You thought you knew and you turned out to be wrong. And then afterwards you realized, if I looked a little harder, if I checked something else, I wouldn't have made that mistake. Yeah.
One access for us to know the whole truth is through either universities or a school, political school, and you find the truth elsewhere is through experienced people.
Yeah.
Finding them.
Universities are a business. They get you to pay money to go there to learn. That doesn't mean they actually are teaching you how to think, right? So that's the point. We have to say, what is that person's motivation? What's the motivation of a university, a private one? It's to make money. It's a business, all right? So you have to see what's the motivation. How much will that person get or that company get if I work with them, all right? That's why I say go to old retired people, because they're not in it for business. They just love to talk. So you'll have a better chance of getting more of a truth from experience. But basically, the ability to see truth is from reducing your ego and arrogance and needing to show you're right. The need to impress people makes you stop. Because as soon as you know a little bit, you want to show what you know. That's what teenagers do, right? Teenagers always know everything. And then the adults are saying, come on, you don't know, you're only a teenager. And teachers, oh, I know what I'm doing, right? I guess that's the same here as everywhere in the world. So we need to become more willing to not show that you know anything by not talking, and listen and observe more. So the ability to see truth comes through humility, and a strong, confident lion who doesn't need to attack everyone or show everyone what they know. You don't need to roar the whole time. Sometimes you can sit quietly and watch things go by and observe what's happening. Okay? You have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. So, all right, huh?
It's not very cool.
Oh, you're a bit cold. Turn off the air conditioner, please. So, all right, so the truth comes through the personality. And that comes from, remember, we need our end goal, the goal we have, and the reason we want that goal. And so when I know what I want, why I want it, it makes it easier for me to not need to show off. Because what do I want? I want to get a huge amount of money. Why? Because I want to do whatever. Buy a mansion, buy another airplane, or something like that. Fine. If that's what I want, then I don't need to make this person think I'm a genius and I know stuff. I don't need to have a big ego and impress people with what I know. Because what I do need is to get what I need to get the money to buy a mansion or an airplane or whatever it is. So that's why we need to have a goal for our life, the reason we want that goal, and to keep focused on that every time you think you know something and you want to talk. So that you stop talking and ask questions and observe to raise your ability to see the truth of things. Eventually you develop an insight. Now it's where you might have heard of insight, like vipassana and things like that, meditation, where we just develop an insight where we get an idea that we can see between the lines. Okay, that's a skill you develop through this personality development. Okay, So an exercise for you to do would be to list examples of you or other people having spoken with only knowledge or vision and turned out to be wrong. Okay? So you start looking for that. This is how you develop the ability to see truth by never stopping at knowledge and vision. Right? You know the story of the tortoise and the hare, the tortoise and the rabbit. They're going to run a race, and the rabbit thinks, I'm so fast. What is this stupid turtle? So the rabbit starts running, and he says, oh, I can take a break. I can rest here. And then while he's resting, then he takes a nap. And while he's sleeping, the turtle keeps going and wins the race because he doesn't stop. So why do we stop? Because we stop when we think we know. So you look for as many examples of when you were wrong, other people are wrong. Look for failure in the pursuit of truth. By where do people stop thinking they know? You watch the news, you read a book, and you think, well, it's written there, it's on the news, that must be right. Well, no, don't believe it until you're on the ground in that place. Then you know the truth. Okay? So just make that your general attitude. So I'm basically saying don't believe anything. Don't believe anyone. Always know that whatever they're saying is limited, because that's what humans do, until you find the truth. Okay? When I tell you what's in this bottle, you don't know until you drink it. It's mine, so you can't have it. But until you know what's in here, what's in here? You know? Mm.
Yeah.
You're cheating. I told you already.
It's so like that in the street.
So you have the vision and you know. Why? You saw it and you've had it before, right? Okay. What if you never had coconut water? What if you're from Canada and you just arrived today? I wouldn't know what's in here. So do that for everything. Until you have seen and you can see what it is and you've tasted it, don't believe anything. Because this might have lime water in it too, and change it. You don't know. So you remember, I know what that is. I've seen it selling on the street. Vision, I know, I can see what it is in that bottle. It's not like it's under a cover, right? I can see that it's a little cloudy, it's not clear water, okay. But what if he puts some other flavoring in there? I don't know. So that's how you have to start thinking. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. As long as you always remember, you can be pretty sure, but you could be wrong. That will help you always start to see the truth, because you start to look for the truth by never stopping at what you think you know. Right? It's the turtle and the hare. The rabbit stops to nap because he's so sure he's going to win, and the turtle just kept on going, never stopping. So we never stop in our pursuit of truth about everything. And like I say, you do that by proving yourself that you do always stop. By seeing how people always, pretty much always, are wrong, how they talk about things, and question people. You're talking to someone, and they say, oh, it's like this, and it's like this over here and over there. And you say, yeah, how do you know? I read a book. Well, now you can tell me what's in the book. You can't tell me what's really happening. Would you trust a doctor doing a heart surgery on you who only read a book about it? No, you want to go to someone who's done a few, right? Who's already opened up living bodies and seen and touched the hearts before you're going to let them cut you open and do it. You're not going to go to a heart surgeon who just came out of school and they read a book only because they have the knowledge. And they say, oh, no, but I watched a doctor operating. I watched someone doing it. You're still not going to trust them, even if they have the vision. You say, I want to know you did 10 or 20 or 30 of these first. Okay? So question everybody. Question everything. All right? And you will see how your mind changes. It's really quite good. Okay. Cool? Move on. You know what you've got to start doing from now on. Now, this is another concept that is extremely important. There are 3 forces in the universe interacting all the time. The active force, the passive force, and the neutralizing force. These 3 forces are constantly in play at everything. Something is active. I'm active talking to you. You are passive. You are listening to me. The neutralizing force is what changes the event. So at 2:30 I have to leave because I'm teaching another course at 3 o'clock. So we know that at 2:30 the alarm will go off and the neutralizing force will change from you being passive to you now being active and going out and doing your own things. Okay. So an example is there's a traffic light and the cars are sitting there and all at the red light, and you're in one car and you're paying attention like a good driver, and you see in the other car next to you the driver is busy texting, and you can see he's impatient and he's texting, and you can see that there's a pedestrian crossing the road, right? He's got the green light to cross, and he's also busy texting while he's walking. Now you sit and you see a person walking, a driver in a car. Both are occupied with their phones. Both are impatient and not paying attention. And you're in your car and you see, okay, the other side light is yellow, which means our light is going to turn green. And that car is going to want to go. But the driver is not paying attention to what's going on around him. The pedestrian is not paying attention to see his light is about to change. So there is a possibility that the passive driver and the active pedestrian will switch roles when the neutralizing force, which is the traffic light, changes. And then the driver will become active because he has a green light. And the pedestrian should become passive because he's got a red light. So the light changes their situation. Now, what if neither of them see the lights changing? At just the moment the pedestrian is getting in front of the car and the car goes. So that's what happens in nature. Things are just happening and random events change situations. Now, what if you in your car are aware of these 3 forces and always paying attention? You could just blast the horn so that the pedestrian and the guy next to you, what's that? And now they see each other and the light. And you have stopped an accident by you being the neutralizing force instead of just waiting for things to happen. Too many people have an attitude of, well, we'll wait and see. Sometimes you need to, yes. But they do that as an excuse. Is your excuse to do nothing? To say, well, we have to wait and see. So then you just get old and die because you did nothing. So start to observe active, passive, and then what happens to change any situation. For example, 2 people are arguing. Let's say partners, man and wife, are arguing. And we're arguing, active, passive, passive, active, depends who's yelling. And then the phone rings. That's the neutralizing force. The phone rings. My phone, the man's phone. And the wife says, are you going to answer that? That's not a question, it's a dare. And he says, yeah, I got to take it. Now, what happened? We ended the argument there, but that's going to continue. She's going to get more angry. But that same neutralizing force, the phone rings, and the man says, no, I will not talk to the phone, take the phone, because you're more important. We need to resolve this. The phone became the neutralizing force. I now have to choose my action. Take the phone or ignore it and stay present in the argument. Then the next action will be very different, right? She'll either hate me or she will love me. At work, two people are arguing. They're fighting, you're sitting on the side, and they're arguing. Now you can sit back and wait for some random event to happen, to be the neutralizing force. The boss comes and yells at both of them, so they have to stop fighting and they both stay angry and productivity drops that day. Or you can jump and say, hey, guys, come on, let's go for coffee. Come on, let's go for a coffee. Let's have a lunch. And it's, okay. And you calm them both down and you go for a coffee, have a nice time. So the neutralizing force could be whatever happens, or you can become the neutralizing force to change the direction. Now that's about running your business. It's about every conversation. It's about choosing your business. It's about everything you do. And you cannot know the right neutralizing force to move things in the direction you want them to move unless you see from the truth of knowledge. So if I see two people are arguing in the office, right? Let's say whatever it is, two people are arguing and I'm sitting here. And I can see it's actually, they're not really arguing about anything important. They're just both angry, unhappy at work, and frustrated. So they're arguing about nothing. So I can see this is an argument that is without substance. So I can just say, come on, let's go for a coffee, end the argument, and things go peaceful. Because I see the truth is they're just frustrated at the job, and so they're fighting for no reason. But if I see the truth is that there is something important, whatever it may be, something technical in the software, and this guy is saying, no, you must change this part of the code because otherwise it'll fail and we'll have trouble, then you can see from the truth that this is an important argument. Now we must keep this going to find a solution. We don't just end it. You see? So when I have the truth of knowledge, the truth of understanding, what is the reason they are arguing? Is it just stupid or is it important? Then I can choose the right neutralizing action to lead us forward or just to make a bigger problem. Because if it's an important thing, like this software code, for example, and I say, come on, let's go for a coffee, let's deal with this later, they're both going to be angry at me. Because, no, you idiot, this is important, we have to get this done. And then the boss will be angry. What are you trying to disrupt? This is important, it has to get done. Right? So then you ruin because you see they're arguing and you think you understand, but you don't have the truth. You only have the vision. Then your action as the neutralizing force trying to bring peace will be even worse, more trouble. So that's why we need to develop the ability to always question, to find out what's the truth, then see what the situation, what's active, what's passive, and how to turn that in a direction that leads the events to where I want them to be. When I had my 1-hour photo stores, I want to make money. Good. They invented digital cameras. Okay, so I am now the passive running my business to the active, which is the invention of digital cameras, which will change photography. So I have to decide what is the right action based on the passive and the active force, which are slow moving. It would take another 10 years for there to be a result. But if I know my end goal is to make the money, and I see that I am now passive, one little store to a whole industry of digital photography, how can I change the events to lead me to my goal? And that was sell the business. It was making a lot of money, but sell it now while it's making a lot of money. And I sold it for a price that the people who bought it still made good money before the business went down. All right, so everybody was happy. But I wanted to get out, right? So this is it. So sometimes active and passive is not just two people arguing, something like that. It could be long-term events too. And so by always looking for truth of situations, knowing that everything is being moved, is moved by something that is moving it, and things change all the time, but there's always a force which changes the direction, and I have the power and ability through my open-minded, humility, well-developed, balanced personality to choose which direction to move things in. Because I'm not fixated saying this is where I want it to go, but I'm saying my end goal, the path may take a little zigzagging to get there, and I'm willing to make turns. Change my business, change my ideas. Be flexible to get to the goal. Okay? So does this make sense? How these two principles go together? So this is powerful. These two principles give you the power to take your life anywhere you want, to make anything happen. It takes time to develop your mind to be able to do this, but maybe a couple of months, maybe a year. But just by observing and learning that don't stop at vision or knowledge. There's more. And there's always more. Right? The chair. What is this? This is a chair. I tell you, no, here, put it here. Okay. I tell you, there's a chair, you sit on it. Knowledge. Vision. Here is the chair. Great. Truth. Actually, this is metal with some welding. Little rubber things on the bottom of the feet. Fake vinyl leather or something like that on the seats with a cushion underneath. And they're attached with screws to the metal frame. I could make a better one than this, because this one's a bit wobbly. All of a sudden, by saying from knowledge to vision to truth, I learn about something in all its detail, the truth of what it is. It isn't a chair. This is a collection of pieces of metal and plastic and vinyl and cushion. And I look at it knowing the truth, and I'm saying, you know, I never thought about being in the chair designing manufacturing business, but I could make a much better chair than this. Because I looked at the truth of why this one is not well made. Objectively looking, not a crappy chair made in China, finish. No, I look at why. Okay, the frame or whatever it is. I'm making up this example on the spot here, so, go with me. So it's something wrong. And then I figure out how to make it better. And all of a sudden, I make a better chair. Okay, Apple didn't invent the iPhone. Somewhere that was put together, and Apple just designed it better. They designed it nicer. They designed different features, whatever it is, okay? So Apple took an idea and made it better because they looked at the truth of what was there and said, this could be better, and I can make it better. Now you have the richest company in the world, right? So, then Apple also said, we could manufacture our own computers and phones and so on. But there's a problem with that, and it'd be better to let someone else manufacture for us. Apple doesn't make anything. Apple's a design company. They design things. Then they get other people to make it for them. So Steve Jobs had an idea of how to make a very profitable company by designing things and getting someone else to make it, which means someone else is responsible for warranty, service, repairs, replacements, and so on. So he figured out how to run a company better by seeing other companies that actually manufacture products. And he improved because he saw the truth, which is, yes, vision, factory makes technology, whatever, computers. Knowledge, they make good money. Vision, they're making good profits. Truth is, they also have problems. So how can I do it better? Okay? So this is basically how you get to find a direction and how to deal with problems that will occur. Okay? So you're going to look for where people always stop at knowledge or vision. You're going to look for yourself doing that. Always keep looking for truth, even if you can't find it. Keep looking. And you're going to look for every event, what's active, what's passive, and how can that be changed. What happened to end that situation or change it? Just like the traffic light changes me from passive to active. What is, you look for the active, passive, and whatever it was neutralizing, and then you think, how could I have been a better neutralizing force? What could I have done that would have given a better outcome? So you start exercising your mind, knowing that if I can see the truth, I can see how I could have made that situation turn out better. Whether it's two people arguing or anything, everything. You know, so there's no end to your exercise material. It's constant. Start doing that, looking, and you will see your whole, not just your mind changes, your mood changes. You become more positive and more energetic because you are using your mind. You're using parts of your mind that you have not used before, but they're there. So your mind has the capacity to see deeper, right? Like if you make chairs and you look at this chair, if you make chairs, you will not see a chair. You will see, I wonder what foam they used, because I know they used a foam cushion inside. Because you know about chairs. You'll see inside what people don't see. So, because you used your mind making chairs. Now, what I'm teaching you is how to use your mind everywhere, in general. So your mind will start to see everything. You'll see when people are lying. You'll see when people don't know what they're talking about. You will see opportunities that other people do not see. You said they sell them on the road, the coconut water. Yes, where we get the coconut water. This guy who makes this very nice coconut water stops working at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And he happens to be on, I don't know what that road's called, but it's the main road that goes to the west, okay? So it's a busy road. When is that road busiest? 6 o'clock? 7 o'clock? There's a lot of traffic, everyone going home or going out. But he stops his business at about 4:30. So how much money could be made if he stayed open till 7?
Yeah, well, everyone's doing the traffic jam.
Exactly. If he stayed till 7. So that's the first thing. He could make more money if he stayed till 7. Then I think, okay, but the guy, I look objectively, what's the truth? Truth is, maybe he's got kids. Maybe he wants to be home before they come home from school. No, he doesn't. I see the pile. Okay. And if he does, he could just order more. You know, have more inventory. Maybe he wants to go home to his wife. Maybe, who knows, right? The truth is, I don't know why he wants to go home at 4:30, but he does. Great. I also know so many young people are looking for work, and they've got nothing to do. So, a young person can go to this coconut guy and say, you know what? Make the water, put it in the bottles, and I will stay here until 8 o'clock tonight, and whatever I sell, I'll take 10 rupees, 20, whatever, 20 rupees a bottle. So all of a sudden, some teenage kid with no job, no money, no family, nothing, has put himself into a business that the better he works, the more money he makes. And the coconut maker is making extra money that he would never have made while he still gets to stay home. Now, if the teenager and the coconut guy are the active and passive, and I am the neutralizing force, I come up with the idea, I find the kid, and I get 10 rupees a bottle as a commission for coming up with the idea. Or at least a free bottle. Okay? So I can be the neutralizing force and find a way to make money by doing nothing but getting an idea and putting two people together. Because they stopped at knowledge and vision thinking, well, whatever it is, I stop there. And I look for the truth. The truth is more money to be made, more business to be had. He doesn't want to be there. Kids want to have something to make money. I see the truth of the world, the truth of the universe, so I can get ideas knowing about active and passive. Because active is the coconut seller, passive is the teenager sitting home watching TV or doing nothing because he's got nothing to do. And I'll be the neutralizing force putting the two together. Okay? So you see how easy it is to find business ideas and to grow into having many businesses if your mind has been adjusted to use the capacities that it has. Okay, lots more for today, but we'll have to do that next week. And there we go. Okay, any questions before I stop today? All right. But this is, I assume, very new to you, right? But do you see the value, how this really applies to elevating yourself from renting out a car or a car wash to skyrocketing to something much bigger in a couple of years, right? And the thing is, I always say, money, business, it's just the exercise room to develop your being. That's what I teach, is about becoming more than just a normal human being. So it means your marriage, your relationship, your kids, your parents, everything in life. You gain the power over your life in every aspect, not just making money. Okay.
This is what you teach in the mind?
Yes, these last two things are from All Is Mind. Yeah.
You teach here?
No, I'm doing, because only one person signed up. We now have actually 3 have joined. I'm teaching in the Voila Hotel in Bagatelle because we sit in the restaurant because there's just one. I can't afford to pay for a room. And well, actually here I'm not, yeah. But yeah, they didn't want to run it because they said, no, one person, we're not going to run it. So yeah, so I'm teaching it there. But I will start again. I can teach it any time. If I've got a couple of people who want to learn and we find a location where we can sit and talk, then I will teach it. This is all I'm doing. So it's about, that's all I care about, is making you better. You want me to do it? You find the location, you pick the location, you set it up, and I will be there to teach. Very simple. I even have my own projector that I can bring if they don't have one. So, okay. So, yeah, teach, and then you really, that's the work of really developing the mind and the being. Right? Here, I'm only taking a couple of pieces that I can show you apply to business. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Good, good. So I hope you'll do the exercises, and you know, I'll post the video online tonight so you can review. But